The best product leaders aren't just product managers. They are part psychologists, part economists, part strategists. They see the world through a lens of first principles. But how do you move from theory to practice? How do you stop being a victim of chaos and start being the architect of your own outcomes? This is the Sovereign PM, the podcast that deconstructs the ideas of product strategist Schwarzkopf to give you a more powerful way to think and lead. It's time to own your outcomes. Let's begin.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're really getting into something that runs deep for a lot of professionals, especially I think if you're in a role like product leadership. We're talking about that big idea, the CEO of the product mindset.
Right.
This belief that you should basically live and breathe the mission, own everything, define yourself by your work. It's almost sold as like the peak of dedication.
It is, yeah. Like it's the only way to be truly committed.
Exactly. As if mixing up who you are with what you do is somehow more noble. Does that sound familiar to you? Do you feel that sort of intense connection between your identity and your job?
It's a really powerful idea, and honestly, it often comes from a good place, from genuine passion, which makes it kind of insidious when it turns into a trap. And what's really striking when you look at the research is that this ideal, as noble as it sounds, seems to be a major, major factor in burnout.
Burnout. Well, you hear that word a lot.
We really do. And we're not talking small numbers. I mean, global reports are suggesting almost half of workers, like 48%, are feeling burned out.
Nearly half. That's staggering.
It is. And, when your whole sense of self, your identity, is wrapped up so tightly in your job, well, any setback at work, maybe a feature doesn't land, or you have a tough stakeholder issue, or, even a layoff.
Yeah.
It stops being just a work problem. It feels like an existential crisis. It makes people surprisingly fragile.
That idea of fragility that hits home, it sounds, frankly, pretty scary. So, okay, if this intense work identity thing is a trap, what are we doing here in this deep dive? How do we start to pull that apart?
Well, our mission today is really to challenge that core myth, the idea that your passion and your job have to be the same thing.
Yep.
It's a nice story, but there's a poet, Anas Majgani, who put it beautifully. He said something like, some people do what they love for a living, and other people do what they do so they can do what they love when they are not working.
And neither is more noble than the other. I like that.
Exactly. So we want to introduce this concept, maybe sounds a bit counterintuitive at first, identity diversification.
Identity diversification.
Yeah.
Like investing.
Precisely. Think about a financial portfolio. You wouldn't put all your money into one single stock, would you?
No way, too risky.
Right. So why invest your entire sense of self-worth, your core identity, into just one job? This isn't about, slacking off or working less hard. It's actually about living more, building a career that's sustainable, impactful, and genuinely fulfilling by thinking deeper, not just broader. It's about a real transformation in how we see work.
That's a really powerful reframe. And maybe to grasp why this shift is so important, let's look closer at the problem itself.
Yeah, let's do that.
If you're a product manager, or really in any demanding role, you probably know that feeling of being always on.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the hours, right? It's that constant, low-level hum of stress inside. We've all done it. Checking Slack before you even get out of bed.
Yeah.
Answering emails over dinner while your family's trying to talk to you. Or you're playing with your kids, but part of your brain is still wrestling with that stakeholder issue.
Totally. Debugging a problem in your head.
Exactly. There's just no real off switch, is there?
Yeah.
Your brain just keeps going even when you want it to stop. Like your inner voice is just constantly running a product review meeting.
And that always on thing, it might look like dedication from the outside.
Right, like you're super committed.
But it's really a direct result of a basic principle. Work, like a gas, will expand to fill all available space.
Like a gas. Okay.
Yeah. And your good intentions, your passion, how much you care about doing a great job, none of that is strong enough on its own to stop that expansion.
So just wanting to switch off isn't enough.
Not even close. Without some kind of deliberate, intentional structure put in place, your work will just take over everything. And that's not, a personal failing or lack of willpower. It's just the default if we don't consciously build boundaries. Understanding that first principle is, I think, absolutely key to making a real transformation, not just tweaking things around the edges.
Okay, so work expands, good intentions aren't enough armor. How do we build that structure then? How do we start changing this relationship with work? You talked about 3 pillars for this identity diversification.
That's right.
And I think it's worth stressing, these aren't just, quick tips or hacks. They're about fundamental shifts, right? In how you deal with your time, your interests, your communities. They're meant to reveal something deeper.
Exactly. They're about the why, not just the how. Let's dig into the first one. It really sets the foundation.
Okay. Pillar 1, building time sanctuaries. Sounds intriguing.
Yeah. The core idea here is carving out truly sacred, recurring blocks of time where work is just off the table, not an option.
Sacred, huh?
Yeah, think of it like inspired by old traditions, like Shabbat in Judaism, a dedicated time for rest, reflection, stopping work.
Okay.
And this isn't like a vague, oh, I'll try to take Saturday afternoon off. No, it's a hard appointment in your calendar, non-negotiable.
So practically, what does that look like?
Could be, say, every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. You block it out, call it no work zone or whatever. Or maybe Saturday mornings are completely protected. And the key is the practice during that time. Phone goes in another room. Or airplane mode, tucked away.
Ah, physical separation.
Exactly. It's not about trying not to work. It's making it basically impossible during that specific window.
And why does this work? I mean, beyond just getting some rest, which is obviously good, what's the deeper transformation here?
Well, this goes right to creativity and how our brains actually solve problems. The transformation is starting to treat disconnection itself as a crucial KPI.
A KPI, like for your job performance.
In a way, yes. For your effectiveness. Think about it. If your brain is never bored, if it's constantly bombarded with Slack pings and emails and tasks,
Yeah, always stimulated.
it actually struggles to make new connections, those creative leaps. Real aha moments often come when your mind is wandering a bit, in that diffuse mode, connecting things in the background.
When you're not actively trying to solve the problem.
Precisely. If you're always grinding, you basically starve your brain of that essential incubation time. So protecting that downtime, your time sanctuary, isn't just about preventing burnout. It's actually as vital for your strategic thinking as protecting your roadmap. It's how you refill the well, keep your insights fresh, make sure your solutions are genuinely innovative.
That makes a lot of sense, treating disconnection as productive.
Okay.
So that's time sanctuaries. What about what we actually do with that time? What's the next pillar, and why might it feel a bit weird, especially for ambitious people?
Right. This leads us nicely into pillar 2, investing in useless hobbies.
Useless. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, and that's the point. We need to challenge that constant drive for self-optimization. You see this all the time, right? A product manager thinks, I need a hobby. What do they pick?
Uh-oh. Let me guess. Learning Python? Reading 50 business books this year?
Exactly. Stuff that's basically just more work disguised as leisure. They're trying to optimize their career, get better at their job, even in their downtime.
So they're not really switching gears or building anything separate, just reinforcing the work identity.
Precisely. So the really transformative idea here is to deliberately choose a hobby that is truly useless for your job.
Okay, define useless in this context.
Something with zero direct application to your title or your next promotion. Learn piano just because you like the sound. Take a pottery class and enjoy making a mess. Join a community garden.
Ah, things done purely for the process, not the outcome related to work.
Exactly. The goal is to fire up a totally different part of your brain, build an identity completely separate from product manager you. It's not about achieving some grand mastery either. It's about the engagement itself.
So it doesn't have to be this huge time commitment.
Not at all. And this is key. Small, even inconsistent efforts work wonders here. A 10-minute walk with a friend. Practicing 3 guitar chords after dinner. These little investments in your non-work self, they build up that diversified identity portfolio over time. They send a signal to your brain that your value isn't just your last sprint review.
And there's a cognitive benefit too, right? You mentioned cross-training the brain.
Absolutely. When you engage in something totally unrelated, you're literally building new neural pathways, increasing your cognitive flexibility. It's like cross-training for your mind. You come back to complex work problems with a richer mental toolkit, maybe seeing angles others miss because they're only ever exercising that one work muscle.
I love that phrase, cross-training for your brain. It makes leisure feel less like an indulgence and more like essential maintenance.
It really is.
Okay, that connects perfectly to the next idea then. Pillar 3, joining a different tribe. This feels like it's about community and validation.
It is, and it tackles a really common issue, especially in fields like tech or product. Your whole social world can end up revolving around the industry.
Yeah, all your friends work in tech, you go to tech meetups, your Twitter feed is all product gurus.
Exactly. It becomes an echo chamber. And your sense of self-worth gets validated, or not validated entirely by this one, often quite similar group of people, which is kind of a fragile setup. What happens if that group's definition of success is super narrow, or if you only feel valued in that one specific context?
Right, so the idea here is to find a community, a tribe that just doesn't care about your job title.
Fundamentally does not care. It gives you that real-world grounding, that reminder that your value as a human isn't tied to your performance review or your latest launch.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, the author Simone Stolzoff tells a great story about her weekly basketball game.
Okay.
To her teammates, she says, it doesn't matter how her book is selling or what her job is.
Yeah.
What matters is, does she show up? Is she a good teammate? That's it.
That's her different tribe.
That's her different tribe. So you need to find your version. Maybe it's volunteering somewhere, a casual sports league, a book club that reads fiction, not business books, a hiking group. Anything where your identity gets to be something other than the product person.
Places where your contribution is valued differently.
Totally. It's about embedding these other parts of yourself in real relationships where they matter. And this practice, it reveals a much deeper way to connect with people.
And part of that, you mentioned, is changing how we even start conversations.
Yep.
We all do it. The default question.
Oh, the classic. So what do you do?
Right. It's lazy, isn't it? And it immediately puts people in their work box, defines them by their job from the get-go.
It really does.
Yeah.
So the transformative practice here is simple but powerful. Consciously try asking a different question, a more human one.
Like,
What do you love to do? Or what's exciting you lately? Something that invites people to share what actually energizes them, what makes them feel alive, rather than just their job description.
that opens up so much more possibility.
It does. It lets people define themselves on their own terms.
Yeah.
Learn so much more about their real passions, their quirks. And guess what? You also feel more comfortable sharing the more diverse, interesting parts of your own identity in return. It fosters much more genuine connection. It's about thinking deeper about connection, not just networking based on job titles.
What?
Asking about first principles of passion, not just professions.
Okay, so we have these three pillars. Time sanctuaries, useless hobbies, different tribes. Let's talk payoff. Because you said earlier, this isn't about being less ambitious.
Not all.
This is actually presented as a strategy for a more sustainable and maybe even more successful long-term career. How did that work?
Well, just look at the business benefits. There's solid research showing that people with broader interests, diverse hobbies, they're consistently more creative problem solvers.
That makes sense, a cross-training idea.
Exactly. They're more innovative thinkers because their brains are literally making connections others might miss. Their mental toolkit is just richer. They bring fresher perspectives. Plus, think about resilience. A diversified identity is basically the best insurance policy against career stress. If your job is everything, then yeah, a layoff or a failed project feels like the end of the world, an existential threat.
Right, it hits your core identity.
But if work is just one important thread in a bigger, richer tapestry of your life, that same setback becomes, well, still painful, maybe, but manageable. It's a challenge you can recover from, learn from, move past. That resilience is gold, both for you and for any team you're on.
That's a huge benefit, that resilience. And beyond the work stuff, the business case.
Yeah.
There's a deeper human benefit too, isn't there?
This is really the heart of it, I think. The ultimate transformation isn't just being a better employee. It's about becoming a more whole, well-rounded human being. It's about building real, authentic relationships that aren't just based on your job status. It's about contributing to stronger communities. And, it's about setting an example.
An example. For who?
For the next generation, maybe? For your kids, people you mentor, your colleagues. Showing them that a person's worth isn't just their title or their salary. It's about understanding your value based on deeper principles, your core humanity. It's really rethinking what a truly successful life even looks like.
So pulling this all together for you, our listener,
Yeah.
embracing this idea, maybe calling it a good enough job, not in a settling way, but a job that lets you contribute without eating your whole identity.
Right.
You're not actually lowering your standards for work, you're raising your standards for your whole life.
That's a great way to put it.
You start judging your life maybe less by the last feature you shipped and more by the richness, the resilience, the the vitality of your entire identity portfolio.
So maybe as you think about all this, here's a final thought to chew on. What useless hobby, what time sanctuary, or what different tribe might be the most powerful next step for your identity portfolio? Where could you start building?
And maybe just try it out this week. Practice that better question. Instead of what do you do, try asking what do you love to do? See what happens. What surprising connections, what deeper insights might open up for you.
And that brings us to the end of this debrief. Our goal is to give you not just ideas, but a more powerful way to think. If you found value in this discussion, the best way to support this work is to give this episode a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future session. And if you know a fellow product leader who is wrestling with these same challenges, feel free to share this episode with them. As always, you can find the link to the original, in-depth article by Karsten Schwarzkopf directly in the description below. Thank you for your time and your attention. Stay sovereign.